The setting was the present for the recent production of The Merchant of Venice by St. Louis University Theater. Costume designer Lou Bird decked out the Venetian characters in snazzy clothing, unlike any style with which I'm familiar. In contrast, the Jewish moneylender Shylock wore a conservative business suit. In other words, the outsider looked familiar, the insiders looked foreign. This reversal of expectation was the first indication that director Gary Wayne Barker wanted to challenge easy assumptions about the characters and their values. Staging The Merchant of Venice is problematic today because contemporary theatergoers can't view the play's anti-Semitism in the same way as the original Elizabethan audience. Barker's production was remarkably successful at navigating the play's difficult waters. Zach Bocoris did not sanitize or demonize Shylock. His resentment of his treatment seemed human, especially during the famous speech beginning, "Hath not a Jew eyes?" In it, Bocoris looked directly at the audience on all sides, demanding self-reflection. Even so, Shylock's insistence on revenge never seemed justified in this speech or anywhere else. The production did not gloss over the blind spot of the native Venetians toward anti-Semitism, but did not undermine the comedy of the rest of the play. Katie Schoenfeld's Portia and Blake Howard's Bassanio were a sympathetic young couple. Dylan Norris's Antonia was an exemplar of devoted friendship. Jacob Holton captured Graziano's rashness without making him too unsympathetic to be a match for Sarah Richardson's engaging Nerissa. Carly Cosper's Jessica and Quincy Schenk's Lorenzo were another well-matched couple. Jimmy Bernatowicz enlivened Lancelot Gabbo's moral crisis by pulling members of the audience on stage to represent his conscience and the fiend. Caleb Vetter as Morocco and Andre Islamian as Aragon brought welcome comedy to the casket scenes in Belmont. Haley Durkis-Jacks as Selania, Molly Myers as Salarina, Rebecca Manikis as Ald Gabbo and the Judge, and Laura Button as Stefana demonstrated the good sense of making more parts in Shakespeare available to women. The cats continually showed a deep understanding of their lines. Some of the credit for this consistency must go to text assistant Marilyn Arnold and dialect coach Katie Keating. Set by Jim Burwinkle ran down the center of the Marcel Theater, dividing the audience into two facing groups. A bridge at one end of the set and a doorway at the other were used well in the staging. The trial scene was especially effective. In the most recent productions I've seen, Portia appeared to arrive at the pivotal legal argument in desperation just before she announced it. Schoenfeld's Portia, in contrast, was in complete control before and after pulling the rabbit out of her hat, suggesting that she had the winning strategy up her sleeve all the time. I much prefer this interpretation. I would hate to think that Portia went into court unprepared, or that she had learned nothing from consulting the learned Dr. Bellario, whose expertise Shakespeare took pains to establish. A couple of silent scenes were added for this production, a party at the start and Shylock's forced conversion after the trial, belying his last words, "I am content." Both scenes enriched a highly distinguished staging of a most difficult play.
Yes, very thoughtful and well done by the cast. They handled the language pretty well through and made it understandable, I think.
I am not always happy to see this play, but I was very happy to see this production.
Good.